They just gave away 2 cheese wins.
You did the Maokai, you gave them the Maokai analysis.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the games they played previously.
Yeah.
Notice their Maokai prio.
Yeah, I mean, I think Varus, like, it's like a key component for both things. Like, Varus enables Maokai and vice versa. Like, they both, like, synergize well with each other. So I think they need to take away one at least. So it's going to be the Varus.
I think it also unlocks Zven's champ pool to just be super counter pick heavy.
Yeah.
You get a lot of shoving lanes and stuff. And so now you're going to play maybe a more honest lane phase with 2 scaling AD carries and, like, more enchantery supports. We'll have to see.
This is super interesting to me because I love the Lucian ban. That was the lane, the most pushing kind of kill bot lane that we've seen Fly play. And then the Aphelios takeaway. Again, this is actually Prince's most played champion. So they're essentially trying to, it seems, force him onto the Zeri again.
Something that I'm interested in, they went Tristana here, so that's early. It's worth noting. I was wondering if they're going to go Jinx Thresh to take away the Thresh from the Aphelios, but it seems like they might just go double AD early if we're going Tristana, maybe because you want to lock in your AD pick as well.
And I wonder what they think about Cassante. I mean, Impact did have a good lane into it, but you know, Fudge still looked like pretty good on it, so I don't know if they want to take it away or what's going to happen.
Oh, it's your favorite, Dokla!
Oh, I've never seen this before, actually.
Huge.
What are the merits of Sion Blind?
It's generally a stable lane, and kind of sets up your team well. I mean, they have double tanks, so they'll need a lot of damage here coming from the rest of the picks. And I think it's like, C9 has counterpick support here, which I think is the biggest thing. I think they're going to hold their counterpick here till 5, so it's probably most likely going to be a strong bot lane here for C9.
This is interesting to me because it feels like FlyQuest taking their entire top side of the map early is kind of saying, all right, Prince, I thought Prince was playing quite well last game for how far behind he got set in the team fights. I feel like they're saying, we're going to see as much of C9's draft as we can before going our bot lane to make sure that Prince is online, and then the rest of the team will have to deal with it, because it's pretty late priority for bot lane in the current meta to go full 4-5 with it.
Yeah, I mean, pairings are gone, like Lucian Nami is gone, so I'm not sure exactly what they're going to play. Maybe Zyra Khan. I mean, K-Lux is being taken away here, so not sure what the combination will be.
Jinx
coming
Thresh?
I mean, it seems hard for them to have more than one pushing lane with the way the draft is right now. Cloud9 always drafting for pushing lanes, because as you mentioned, yeah, Cloud9 has perfect support. And then they're going to probably be able to get pushed on Sion with whatever Fudge takes.
Yeah, I mean, what I say is just Zyra Khan here, and they probably want to ban Thresh here for FlyQuest side.
Then he'll just probably end up going Renata.
I'll ban Cassante.
Yeah, if he has 2 supports, I can understand why they let him play either one, especially Zven's Thresh hasn't been great compared to his other picks.
Yeah. I mean, they can also pivot towards like Lulu. I mean, they're going to pick their top hero on 400%, so we'll see. I'm not a fan of Renekton, but it synergizes well with the
Fiora.
Yeah, I like this a lot more.
It's a little tempting to go something that's tankier. Like if he does go the Renekton, it's going to be basically an all physical damage team comp on the side of FlyQuest. Outside like the kind of Maokai damage or whatever. So I understand saying I'll pick something that can stack armor and become a really good frontline a little bit more than like the Fiora who's just going to prioritize.
I mean, I think Fiora is not necessarily winning lane into Sion until like really late in the game. So I like the Renekton a lot more. It gives you option to fight Rift, and I think with Fiora it's not doable. So I think it's much better.
10 seconds.
Renata?
4 pick. Oh, Renata would be nice.
Blitzcrank!
Braum.
Oh, wow.
Really? I mean, that's a beefy team. That's a lot of CC.
Yeah, I mean,
when you can do Braum Sejuani.
Yeah, they just 5v5 and they just have a Braum, so.
Yeah.
Very short range team though into double marksman with a fair amount of peel. It'll be on C9 to find good engages.
They're probably going to invade level 1 too. Like Braum Sejuani level 1 is crazy.
Braum is so good level 1.
I mean, they could also do like the Sion level 1 strat. I don't know if it will work against this, but I don't know. It depends how desperate they're feeling.
Do you like this draft right now for FlyQuest? You think it's a good bounce back on blue side, or you think they're still in trouble?
I kind of like it, but I just don't know how much of a lead mid lane will be able to get. I think top lane matchup is definitely favored for FlyQuest. Like, you'll be down early, but you can scale really well and outscale Renekton really quickly. So
3-0.
Yeah.
All right, Jazz calling the 3-0. FlyQuest hoping to live the scaling dream. That's going to do it for us here. Let's get back to the casters for the 3rd game.
This matchup, I've played it a fair bit, can start to turn really bad, so you need to create a large early lead to where Silas can't threaten anything. Oh, Braum at level 1 is cracked, by the way. You do not want to face check that.
All right. FlyQuest is going deeper into enemy territory. Zven loves the Papega frog. It is the best.
This is funny because it's like, We know that FlyQuest isn't just camping that brush, but C9 doesn't. C9 would love to fight them, so they could have moved to Pixel, but they're not sure exactly where they are. So I think this is just going to be potentially nothing, but if he face checks, he's probably going to be dead.
No, okay. Oh, man. Oh,
if you watch that brush, you are dead. Braum level 1 is so strong.
Oh, they're ready to go in. They want to just jump over the wall after him. Nice 4-man decimating smash there from Impact. Both teams trading back and forth here a little bit. And look at the timer. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds. So if you go back to base and try to heal up, you are going to lose some of that early timing here out on the map.
I mean, it's actually a really big deal because they get flash off of Spica, but also, I talk about how Vicla needs to play this lane, from a place of power. You can essentially say he's starting down the lane 2 potions. Now Blaber, though, is going to be pushed out. He's trying to finish this. He can't.
Oh, I hope you like dairy, my friends. A little bit of cheese in the jungle, invading late, making sure they're catching him off guard. Love this from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think it's really, really smart. Try to take C9 outside of their comfort zone. I don't think Blaber was expecting it at all. He's starting Raptors because that is a relatively safe camp to start leashless. He knew that Spica had no flash, so I don't think you're actually expecting the invade there. So now it's going to be a super late start on Wolves for Blaber. He's going to be warded out on blue because they did get that ward with their invade. Full knowledge of the Sejuani, he will be put back. We'll see if he wants to try to go into vertical jungling because he does have a ward on enemy Raptors, and Spica's fully clearing his top side, which he obviously doesn't know, but he knows he's at least gonna lose 2 camps. Like, for sure when you flash out of there, you're expecting your Raptors are gone and your red is gone, and it's up in the air if he's actually gonna go for Krugs as well.
Fudge stepping up here, having hit level 2, wants to contest Impact on the wave a little bit, then backs off after he spins the spells so Spica doesn't have a chance to jump in and try to interfere.
Exactly, and that's that other thing is, Renekton is supposed to be playing, aggressively in the early levels. That's really where you're trying to get that advantage against Sion, but when you lose your jungler out of the top side of the map, you know that Maokai could be coming behind you, so you actually can't play aggressive, in those early levels, and as a result, Fudge is going to fall behind as well. So, this is just such a good start. Blaber did not elect to go vertical jungling. He's actually praying that his Krugs are still alive. We know that they are gone. What just happened?
Good caster curse I've ever seen. They said we needed to chrono break, so now we don't have to chrono break.
They're just making stuff up.
And we avoid pauses. So let's get
go on
back.
The internet and lie like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'll take it back.
Lots of people's favorite pastime. Now let's go ahead and see how this game is going to shake out from here. Blaber was just passing through the top side, going to drop down a ward. And EMENES goes after Vicla here in the mid lane, but Vicla can get himself the full bomb there with the explosive shot, making sure that he would be ready to go with another rocket jump to disengage. Remember, every time you fully proc the explosive shot, you get your rocket jump cooldown back.
Yep, but when both players actually get low, if you are, low on that Tristana, I do think it favors the Silas. You can put that all in. The Kingslayer obviously very valuable, both when he is low and when his opponents are low. So Tristana just has to bounce that wave, reset immediately. It's going to TP right back to try to keep the pressure on. EMENES can go back to base as well. Is going to be down farm, that is expected in this kind of a matchup. And now it's just about how far can Vicla really push this. He didn't elect to buy any potions. He's going for more of, I would consider a bit of a greedy buy here. To not actually purchase any potions himself. Exactly, went Cole, went Longsword. But if he can't be punished on this, he's going to have a lot of combat power. So it's going to be up to EMENES, up to Blaber to try to put a little bit of pressure here on Vicla and not allow him just be fully in that comfort zone.
And the nature of this draft, combined with the way the level 1 played out with those summoner spells being blown and the follow-up invade from FlyQuest's top laner and jungler, means this game is guaranteed to look different from the previous 2 in that Cloud9 will not just be definitively driving the car throughout the early game.
Yeah, that ward actually, though, spotted Blaber. He doesn't know it because he actually pink-warded Pixel, and at the same time, Fudge is in trouble top.
Fudge flashing back, trying to get distance, wants to get out of the way of the decimating smash, slice and dice. It feels so nice. The man's out of there, and EMENES wants to chase Vicla further, but Vicla's gonna have backup in a second. Not fast enough. The Tristana is dead.
That was warded. How do you die to that gank?
Let him know, Isaac, but not yet, because we got more fights breaking out now. Decimating smash slams into the ground, but it's not gonna find any targets. EMENES jumps right back in. This silence is a difference maker here.
Yeah, that is such a big mistake from Vicla. You have to play ahead here, but they're going aggressive on bot side.
Bottom side, C9 has been dominating this 2v2 the whole day. Prince and Eyla disengaging here now.
Yeah, trade of sums, but heavily in C9's favor. Both sums off Eyla. Cleanse is traded on AD, so double summoner advantage here for the supports on the C9 side. But again, I highlighted that ward. That ward actually tracked Blaber. He walked through.
He did the right thing.
So here it is again. He walks over the ward. He is spotted. It's literally pinged, so they're talking about it in comms. And he's still, is just playing too far up here. Vicla is greeting out, trying to push in that wave, but his jungler is showing top. So there's no fear from C9 to engage on that. That is just greedy play from Vicla. Ends up having to blow his flash. He's trying to retreat up towards top side, but EMENES knows my cooldowns are coming back up. Yours are not. Gets that kill onto him. That is a massive mistake here from Vicla. And not one you can really have to afford here when you're this far down, because now this is what starts happening. As I said, in this matchup, when you get put behind, when the Sylas can threaten all-ins, all of a sudden, now what do? You don't have enough lifesteal early on to actually sustain these sorts of trades. The Sylas can just jump on you over and over and over. I have been this losing Tristana. It does not feel good.
And for any of you guys who were playing way back in the day when AP Tristana was a viable build and her E was that stupid bleed DOT thing, remember that was a pretty uninteractive thing because of how powerful the ratios on the ulti and that E were. When Silas steals away Buster Shot, it's a cannonball.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of all-in threat. I will say EMENES doesn't have the greatest ultis to steal this game. Thresh box can be okay. Maokai ult is the big one that I think you're going to want to steal in most of these fights. Yeah. The stolen Maokai ultimate can be really valuable. Especially Vicla's got to be really careful about it because he is not playing cleanse. There's 2 ADs, there's only 1 lantern, so there is going to be a threat of that. And I think Zven, is going to be very powerful on this Braum pick. Braum versus double AD can be very difficult to actually punch through. You're going to have Sejuani, a Renekton, and Braum just throwing up the wall here to try to stop so much of this damage coming through. But Spica has not been spotted, and there's no cleanse on Berserker, so if he actually gets flash rooted,
oh, nice! They pull him right back into the chompers. FlyQuest finally finds success in the bottom lane.
A great hook there from Eyla, but that looked like a bit of a miscommunication. I think that Berserker thought Zven was going to tank the hook and then W back to him after it. So Berserker does not actually flash that hook, thinking it's going to hit Zven. Instead, it hits him. He has no cleanse. And what would have been, I think, a free walk out there from Cloud9 ends up being a kill given over, and a kill given over to Prince, which is huge, because they're also losing now. The minions at the tower was a CS advantage for C9, but now FlyQuest, for the first time it feels like in this series, having an edge in that bot lane.
Hey man, if you're FlyQuest, you'll take it. Stopping this from becoming the same story as the previous couple of games has EMENES once again scrapping with Vicla. Both junglers showing up nearby. Remember, Spica does not have his ulti. It was used in the bottom lane play. Blaber just only recently hitting level 6 does have his. C9 thinking about the possibility of a contest here. Zven has made his way up, but considering FlyQuest brought up both Prince and Eyla, C9 know they're at a man disadvantage. They want to lock up still. Spica's going to be tanking here on the front. Zven goes for the Glacial Fissure. They find the knock-up onto 2. Fudge with a nice bit of damage down into Prince. Needs a little more to guarantee the kill. Doesn't quite get it. The stolen ulti from the Maokai chasing him down. A double kill over to EMENES. And the difference is made in mid lane.
Yeah, EMENES getting that prio in mid. Tristana at low health is so much weaker than the Silas at low health, in this matchup. EMENES, able to punish, gets that stolen Maokai ultimate. Now 3 kills over to EMENES. He is going to be massive. Tristana is going to be relegated to sitting back and just trying to farm, which is not the position you want to be in this kind of a matchup here. And here it is. Look at Spica. Spica's just pulling to the back of the pit because he knows that EMENES is actually coming for his ult. But he gets that stolen ulti anyway. He gets straight in onto Eyla, takes him down immediately. The very tip of the stolen Maokai ultimate catches here. I think Prince would have died eventually anyway because the cooldowns would have come back up for Fudge and Blaber, but it's even better to give it there to EMENES. And Zven unfortunately grabs that last kill. Otherwise, it would have been EMENES with 4 kills here early on. He's working towards that Rod of Ages. Already has 7 stacks on the Dark Seal. So he's going to be tanky. Has a lot of AP behind it as well.
And that's the kind of comms that you want to see, where EMENES knows, okay, just fling out the ulti, immediately refocus your attention to help your support, and guarantee you get the extra kill onto Vicla there at the end too. C9 plus 2,000 gold, 10 minutes into the game, off the back of what was the best early game thus far for FlyQuest by a significant margin.
Absolutely, and the other thing in this is, yes, Sion was bot, so it's not that you actually just lost all that farm down to bot side, but the big problem, nice sidestep from Vicla. All right. If that chain connected, it would have been really bad, but, nice little bit of sidestepping there from Vicla. But either way, so Sion caught some of the farm bot, but that allowed Berserker to actually be picking up CS. Well, Prince was over at the Herald and dying, right? So it is Berserker actually up in gold now, and Easy little show up there. Bot lane from Blaber forces the ult out of Impact, which is good to get.
Good timing there from Impact. As soon as he sees Berserker doing the animation to call down the stun with the mark of the Gravitum, he's immediately ready to ult and get himself away. This also provides an opportunity for Prince and Eyla to get some plate money up here on the top lane tier 1 of C9. Remember that Spica does still have the Eye of the Herald. They can summon that up and use it here as well. I think they want to get a little more natural damage onto the turret here beforehand, just so they can get as many plates as possible. Fudge is going to use Dominus just to force himself forward and clear as much of this out as he can. Herald's going to get a charge, but now it's cleared out. All they get is the initial contact damage. They can't force anything further.
Yeah, not going to get anything further there. EMENES is going to have that base stopped. Is on a ward. If he jumps in, though, if Vicla jumps in, Zven is there. And Zven is actually really smart about this. He's actually waiting there, baiting
It's a bait the entire time!
Oh.
Vicla's still trying to get out. EMENES chasing. Vicla's cool, but EMENES was waiting. He knew exactly what Vicla wanted to do.
Well, I just love the presence of mind there from Zven. It's such a smart play. It doesn't end up really amounting to anything, but he paused just outside of the vision range of that ward, knowing that Pixel Brush could be warded, was likely warded. Just really intelligent heads-up stuff to know the exact vision range there and to play around it, because as soon as he jumps in, you know that the Braum is going to be there, and all of a sudden, Vicla jumps in, immediately has to flash out. He's now down TP, and EMENES is going to hold his because Berserker has rotated mid, so great lane assignments here from C9. They do need to send at least an extra member bot to not just give over free plates to Jinx, but instead FlyQuest is going to move for this dragon fight, and C9 is moving as well. You can see Fudge already running down.
So we've got the ulti ready to cast for Spica. EMENES does not have his ulti cooldown to fire one back, but C9 has pushed FlyQuest away. EMENES being nearby, such a massive threat considering how powerful this Silas is right now at this point in the game. 3 kills, as you already stated earlier. So now it's C9 with a 2-0 Drake advantage.
Yeah, that's really big, and Fudge was already down to mid lane, so yes, Impact is going to get a plate top, but you know, the move from Fudge, well worth it in this case, and FlyQuest wasn't feeling confident to actually call down Impact with the TP or to bring him down on that ulti, so it is going to be another advantage there to C9. You know, the early minutes going pretty well for FlyQuest, and the level 1 going really well for FlyQuest. You know, the kill great for Prince. They're in an okay spot, but again, you can just see C9 are straight up outplaying them across this series. They're executing better in these small moments. You know, they are getting a lot more, it feels like, out of EMENES than we've been seeing from Vicla, and that has been one of the key differences in the series.
So I want to address something right now because it is specifically something we said we didn't expect to see. Spica is playing this Maokai very differently from what we saw from Blaber. The inventory shows a Giant's Belt and a Blasting Wand, so we are going to see the AP style of Maokai that we got to see from Spica earlier on in the split, back when he was picking Maokai and Amumu all the time, creating a bit of an magic damage threat because of what you mentioned, where the entire damage profile for the rest of the team is physical.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the inventories and you see people already starting to pick up armor, right? Armor, tabbies. You know, there's going to be armor up here. There's already tabbies down there. It's going to be a lot of armor picked up. So I do think it's totally fine to do this. I don't think it's going to be full AP like Leandri's. No lens.
Prince, he gets interrupted. Does he manage to get away? The Glacial Fissure sets it up, and EMENES serves a super mega death rocket right back in his face.
Damn, EMENES pulls him right out of the lantern with the chains. It's 2 chains, baby, but 1 is better. The Cloud9 mid laner having a hell of a game here in game number 3. That was clean, but yeah, I think we're definitely seeing Demonic. I don't think we're going to see full AP. It's not going to be Leandri's. My guess is it is just going to be, you know, Radiant coming out next as the Mythic and just a little bit of AP. Or Spica is going to be absolutely paper here, but we'll see what his decision is.
If EMENES keeps doing this, everybody is paper, and the Silas just becomes the sawmill. He is taking over this game, stepping up in a moment where they can secure a 3-0 victory over an opponent that, honestly, I think most people are expecting to be who would meet them in the finals. A lot of people were looking at this as that kind of a preview of what a likely final would be, but C9 are making it look not even any sort of a contest. There's the Rift Herald going over C9's way. FlyQuest were thinking about fighting it, and now they're ready to go in. That is a valuable target. That is EMENES. He's trying to get away, but the shutdown on the DOT from Demonic Embrace of Spica gets the kill. Now FlyQuest are going to put more bodies in the ground. Beautifully done, beautifully found, beautifully executed. FlyQuest are back in the game.
Massive picks there. The shutdown going, I believe, to Prince as well, potentially. You know, you said it was the Demonic Embrace bot, but he still gets a couple kills there onto the Jinx. That is huge. Getting those picks after the Herald goes over to Cloud9, it was just starting to feel like this one was going to be all Cloud9 here, slowly going more and more in their favor. But those kills are massive, though. Berserker getting aggressive.
Oh, man. Prince is going to want that one back. Right on the back of a big turnaround, he gives over a freebie to Berserker in the 1v1.
And that's a shutdown that he gives over to Berserker there. Prince, you know, walking over mid lane. Rare that you see a straight up solo kill between the ADs in a position like this, but Prince feeling confident. We can watch it one more time. You know, Cloud9 doing a good job securing this, and then EMENES just walking a little bit too far forward. Great job from Impact. He's the one who sets it up. Smash over the wall. They hit the zap. Flash forward here from Eyla after the initial kill to try to get another. You know, flashes in, lands the hook onto Zven, who tried to flash out, couldn't avoid it. 3 kills going the way of FlyQuest was massive for their chances. But the shutdown going back to Berserker here after, it's just a little bit of laziness. And it looked like he had cleansed the whole time, which is the weirdest part to me. Because when I watch, sometimes the spectator can be wrong, but when I watched live, I thought he had cleansed as well. I'm sure someone can maybe tweet us or producers can let us know. But I think he had cleansed, and he could have just cleansed the root and just walked out. It just felt like he was completely underestimating the damage there from Berserker. A little bit of disrespect, and he gives over a freebie.
You saw the slight smile on his face, then shaking his head. He recognizes that was a dumb mistake. I shouldn't have gave that one away.
Yeah, so I did get confirmation he did have cleanse, so he could have just cleansed that probably and just walked out, but...
Oh boy, that tree is about to get chopped. Blaber tanking up the damage from Prince the other way around. And they leave the last hit for Berserker. And Mr. Isaac, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that timer in the top left corner of our screen says 10 seconds till soul point for C9, and FlyQuest jungler just got picked off.
Yeah, that's rough. And with EMENES having the stolen Maokai ultimate, again, this is the primo ult. That's the one he wants for every single important fight. There's just no real way to actually, you know, approach that. Vicla's very far up as well. Vicla's looking dead.
Let's see how dead he is. Maokai ulti out.
Very.
Maokai ulti connects. Everything else connects. Vicla jumps the other way, trying to buy a little bit of time. Meanwhile, the Herald clears out the tier 1 turret. Cloud9 clears out Vicla. Back in mid lane. Berserker's just gonna 1v2 him. He does find both. Holy hell, he's good! Now Impact has to try to get away as EMENES and Fudge are ready to clean up the mess. EMENES trying to get a little bit more distance here. God bless! Berserker's just real good!
There has been a debate all split long. Which AD is better? How about back-to-back solo kills from Berserker onto Prince, and even a 1v2, I believe both of those were solo kills from Berserker here, making the FlyQuest bot lane look absolutely silly. Cloud9 get free soul point. Vicla gives him a freebie, you know, an easy kill there on the bot side. And yeah, this is just a straight up 1v2. Eyla walking through, goes into stopwatch. Berserker just gale forces right in the face of Prince. Had already used the white gun ulti there, stacking up those chakrams immediately, gets the double kill, forces the stopwatch. Yeah, that is how you do it.
Zero emotion. The man is a machine.
Cold-blooded.
This dude's the Terminator, man. He just has a mission and he's going to accomplish it. The details don't matter. 4-2-0. Scores as dank as the gameplay. Woo. This guy is saying it's not just the EMENES show in game 3.
I mean, he's got an IE completed again. You know, you flash back a couple minutes to right after that Herald. You snapshot what the gold was between those two 80s at that point, and then you go forward a couple minutes here. You wouldn't believe how quickly it turned around with no help from his team. Berserker makes it happen. And FlyQuest really going to be feeling the pressure now because IE is already done for Berserker here at 19 minutes. Gale Force IE has the tier 2 boots upgraded, has the protection of the Braum, the Sejuani, everyone around him, and Silas is Gigafed as well. So what do you do?
And the problem is, because of the nature of the drafts, because of the armor stacking capabilities of the C9 frontline, Prince is not even able to answer with a second item Infinity Edge of his own. He has to go for LDR second. Now Blaber's the target here in the front. He's going to be bursted down, you would think. But Berserker just finds another one. Vicla's gone, but Prince gets one back. Blaber gets sniped down by the Super Mega Death Rocket, but EMENES is coming in from the side. Impact is left all alone. He'll flash over the wall to stay alive. C9 makes it a 1-for-1 as FlyQuest retreats.
Okay, they're not going to go for Baron with Blaber dead here. Don't want to do any sort of super risky play. No need to. Fudge way too far forward. He's going to try to turn it around.
Fudge way too far ahead, but the team has his back. EMENES gets one, and Fudge gets away. Now Zven and EMENES have to make sure they can exit safely, and Zven will get on out with the Hex Gate.
Wow, Cloud9 playing with such confidence here. Both their carries are just monstrously fed here. Vicla is not having a good game. Made a lot of mistakes early, has been kind of just chain dying, and when you're playing behind on Tristana mid, it is just such a useless pick. You don't have any utility to really try to turn things around. They look for this engage, they get onto Blaber. Blaber smartly tanks this up for Berserker. He knows he is not the important member here. And as soon as Vicla jumps in, it's just instant go button there from Berserker. R with the Infernum, Gale Force in, swap over to Sniper form. They're able to actually just finish him off there immediately. And then Fudge stepping far forward here. This got really aggressive. Eyla, great positioning around the corner there to land the hook, and you start thinking, all right, well, Fudge just gave over a freebie. But then in comes EMENES, flash forward, stolen threshold, finishes off Spica, is able to walk it out as well. And Berserker, again, just no emotion there. Cloud9, they're going to start bearing up here. They had that late kill onto Spica. The TP's coming up here from Vicla. They could turn.
FlyQuest do not want to give away a 22-minute Baron. Fudge has flash, but he's also got a bomb stuck on his head. Now they fling out the Maokai ulti. The Baron is not low enough to try to secure for either side, but you've got Impact on the front line soaking up damage. Prince is killed. Berserker found him for the fourth frickin' time this game as Spica tries to escape and Fudge continues running forward. Zven will finally die there to the DOT of Spica, and Cloud9 are right back onto the Baron. It just keeps getting worse for FlyQuest. The AD carry gap is huge.
Yeah, I've got two words for this series. It is bot gap. Cloud9. Zven and Berserker have just been making fools out of Eyla and Prince in this one, looking so good in back-to-back-to-back games. Really taking it to a whole nother level here. And even with the change-ups in the draft, which I do think are good, Cloud9 is just executing so much better. They're playing better as a team. They're enabling their carries better. And they're in such a strong position here. We are 40 seconds away from Soul here. And it is Hextech Soul, very, very strong. One of the premier ones.
I mean, the previous two episodes here in this series, we talked about, oh man,
last time
Infernal
on Cloud9
Soul
versus FlyQuest.
Yeah, last time on Cloud9 versus FlyQuest. FlyQuest screwed up, and Cloud9 were able to take the soul. This time around, same thing, except now they get a better soul. It's a problem, man. FlyQuest are just never being able to stabilize.
Though this is a bit much.
Yeah, this should be a kill. If this is not a kill, something is egregiously wrong. Berserker getting hurt a lot.
Oh, and the TP is another death given over. This is bad.
EMENES just chain inting down here. I don't really know what the hell the TP was.
And now they lose soul.
Oh, all right, okay. All right, I'll eat those words a little bit. EMENES at least makes it a 1-for-1, but it still doesn't feel great because you lose the soul for this. This was such a bad moment to have that error.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we're singing their praises, Berserker, really, that was just such a foolish error so far up there. Blaber wants to try to stay around and steal it. We'll see if they can make it happen. Vicla is here, but he's very weak.
Okay. FlyQuest in a 4v3. Both the enemy carries are dead. This is such a bizarre situation for C9 to opt into. Where's the damage? Sejuani, Renekton, and Braum? This is stupid. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hope is just that Vicla is so weak that there's no damage on the other side either, right? So they're trying to force their way in. They're willing to actually risk giving up a kill for the potential to steal the soul, right? And I think that is the answer there. But at the end of the day, they just go over another kill here and lose that dragon, which is also an objective bounty. So a really bad couple minutes there from Cloud9. I honestly have no clue why Berserker was that far up with the dragon spawned at the tier 2 with no vision. It's not like he has the Thresh on his team to be behind him and actually get him out of there. So definitely a big error there from Cloud9, but they're still in a good spot here. They've got to collect themselves a little bit and clean it up.
Somebody give me a fire extinguisher, Isaac. I need to flame the hell out of that play. That was just every decision made by Cloud9 there was more questionable than the last one. Why was Berserker at the tier 2? Why is EMENES killing himself, going in, trying to save him in a 2 versus 5? Why is 3 meatballs trying to make a salad fighting against the whole enemy team next to the Drake in the bottom side river?
Sometimes you just having to have a little bit of a happy game.
I'm not happy. Well, FlyQuest are happy, though.
Yeah.
They're at least glad that they've been given an opportunity to maybe get a foot back in the door here in this series. Cloud9 still in control, like you've said. FlyQuest still have quite a mountain to climb as C9 moves into the FlyQuest jungle. They're placing down the wards. They're clearing away the buffs. They want to continue moving this game forward the way they were before the past couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a blip in the radar, so to speak. Look at that chunk, though. Prince very strong here. Even gale forcing in a bit much because Vicla's full health.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is the XU damage, but Berserker's just playing so confidently. You know, knows that he has a massive lead and is really trying to push it to the maximum here to get the most out of it. You know, chunks out Prince, pushes him back to base, chunks out Vicla, making it difficult to defend these tier 2s. And he is very close to his LDR. You know, going to be working towards a Bloodthirster, potentially wants to grab that first as well. He's in a great spot here, and as long as Cloud9 can continue executing as they have throughout this series, they're in prime position to sweep FlyQuest, guarantee their spot in the grand finals, and that is going to be a really big deal for them.
FlyQuest still have a chance to fight back in this one. You can see Prince working towards that Infinity Edge, nearly has everything put together. He's got the parts, just needs the money for the duct tape to put them all together. Then he'll have that, plus the LDR, plus the Kraken Slayer. But for me, it's all about the positioning of this guy. 6 deaths on the Jinx this game. He's been caught out, he's been found.
They were weird ones too.
Yeah, a lot of them have just been getting exploded by the damage of Berserker. So Prince's positioning needs to return to that immaculate form that we've seen him demonstrate earlier on in the split.
I mean, three items is great on Jinx, and it is a really big power spike. You know, don't want to diminish that, but the problem is, you know, he's down not only a full item and a half to Berserker, he's also down 2 levels, which is even more stats there that you're going to be behind. So, you know, when you're comparing these 2 ADs, you know, when you add in that XP difference, the gold difference that is worth that, it's going to be like 3K plus, really, the difference between 2 players.
Interesting, too, we have double Locket of the Iron Solari on Cloud9 with the Braum and Sejuani both looking to make sure that they can protect from some of the AoE burst that FlyQuest can throw out. I feel like you probably drop 1 Locket when you see the Maokai ulti coming in. You drop the other Locket if you see a Jinx rocket coming at you or a big burst in the team fight somewhere. So C9 really just trying to survive some of that burst potential that might be one of the only ways Fly can win a fight.
I actually think it's really smart. You know, Blaber, your role in this game, you know, you got put behind level 1. It is just enable the carries in every single way that you can. I wouldn't be surprised to see him even go like Redemption 3rd or something like that, because his job is really just keep Berserker and EMENES safe at the expense of yourself. That is really the only thing that matters. He gets a giant belt, so maybe going towards Anathemas or a different direction there. Definitely has a lot of options, but they want to keep their backline safe. And it's even going to be a Randuin's, it's looking like, for Zven. So, you know, in most cases, supports don't have enough gold, but because they are in such a good position, you know, he is going to have this Randuin seconds, which is going to have incredible value against Vicla and Prince. You know, it's so physical damage heavy here. This Braum is going to be a brick wall.
Oh, they go in after EMENES. They want the Silas. Vicla is dumping damage into him.
Though.
But now C9 is already on the Baron. The Maokai ulti is flown out, and it's beautifully stolen away by Spica to try to save the day for FlyQuest. Berserker goes golden, and C9 wants to fight back, but they're in trouble. Berserker gets one, but Prince gets one back. C9 fight him off, and they're looking to pick up most of these Barons that got stolen away. Impact does not have a flash. He should fall here, but good lord, it takes a long time to get him there with Berserker dead.
Yeah, they get the kill, but the steal is the story here. Spica keeping FlyQuest chances alive, but the big problem, look at the soul spawn. Spica's gonna be dead for it, so it's guaranteed soul here for Cloud9. Yes, they lose the Baron, but they still get way more out of it at the end of the day. That is a tier 2 tower taken top lane. That is 4 kills. That is soul all going to Cloud9. So the Baron stops it from being game ending, but Cloud9 still gonna be really happy with this result. And we can watch it one more time. Berserker in the pit, white and red guns just bursting it down. They try to hard engage onto EMENES. He's able to sidestep though and avoid it. And then they just preempt the fight here. Spica going in. You can see that Baron was getting really, really low. They try to actually use the Sejuani ult to buy time to just burst it down, but flash in over the wall. Q Smite there comes through from the Maokai, is able to steal it away. That was massive. And then Berserker here trying to get aggressive, steps forward with the ulti to try to hit the backliners instead of using on that front line. It's a bit of a whiff, not able to connect, and then because of that, he's very far forward, has to go into the stopwatch, and both of the FlyQuest marksmen use that time in the stasis to get up on top of Berserker. And even though he is monster fed and can take one down with him, he was always slated to die from that position.
And the thing is, with 4 dead, the only one left with the Baron buff on FlyQuest is Eyla.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can try to reinforce 2 lanes with more durable minions to stop some of the push from C9. If Eyla dies, which is something that's very easy to have happen if he's trying to ward defensively, keep Cloud9 out of here, then the Baron is entirely gone. You can see up there in the top right, Baron power play currently sitting at +6.
Yeah.
And it starts out at +1500 for taking the buff. So not the ideal scenario again.
One. Ooh.
It mostly just amounts to what you said. It stopped the game from ending right there.
Yep.
But C9 took objectives. They took a couple of the turrets. They ended up taking that Hex Soul, and FlyQuest have to continue trying to find some of these fights. I think one of the critical parts about the last one was Vicla and Eyla finding EMENES at the start and forcing him out before he could do a whole lot, making it so he wasn't synced up with the rest of the team. And without an angle like that, it's going to get tougher and tougher for FlyQuest.
It absolutely is. And Vicla's just not going to be useful in this game, right? He's not picking up any of the kills in the team fights. He had a really poor early game. He's so far away from his IE. And at this point in the game, 31 minutes in, when armor is heavily stacked on the other team, to just be on BT plus Kraken, and no LDR in sight, no IE in sight, he has no damage at all. So you're basically now relegated to a one-threat team. It's Prince versus the world, right? You have 3 frontliners essentially with the Thresh, the Maokai, and the Sion. Vicla's like a big range minion, and then you got Prince. So it's tough, man. It's all up to Prince, and that means that the job becomes very, very easy for C9. Guess who you have to stop, right? Guess who you're looking for with that flash Renekton stun. EMENES is trying to pressure in the fight. It's all going to be about Prince, and even if you can't kill him at the start, if you can just keep him out of the fight, Berserker is going to run over your team.
It's difficult, man, when the Tristana is this far behind. Executioner's calling in the inventory, has to work on a little bit of that Grievous because he's afraid of the lifesteal powers of both the Silas and the Aphelios. As Berserker ready to join up with the rest of his team. As long as Berserker doesn't get picked off, C9 know they have an incredibly powerful carry to play around. EMENES on this Silas, also sitting on 5 items. This guy is incredibly strong, has the stolen Tristana ulti, has the Cosmic Drive, so much ability haste here to guarantee that he's spamming out those spells. Level 18, you've got the final level ulti. Silas is going to be grabbing Tristana ults and Maokai ults left and right.
Yep, absolutely. It does make it really, really difficult. And even in the later stages, you can steal that Thresh ultimate and just use that as a peel, against this front line that's trying to push forward onto Berserker. Can be actually quite effective. It does have a decent AP ratio on it as well. But of course, Maokai ult is that primo one that you want. And it looks like Cloud9 is just going to continue playing around objectives. Baron in 130, Elder in 230, continue to set up and try to dominate the objective game as they have all series long here. Utilize those objectives to draw in FlyQuest before they're ready to fight. It looks like it's going to be Navori third for Vicla, but I don't think he's going to have time to finish this before either of those major objectives actually complete.
And this game has changed so much since the great screw-up of bottom lane, right?
Yep.
Before that, Cloud9 was just playing with all the confidence in the world. They were shoving up, they were taking over everything. And while they are still in control of Summoner's Rift, everything has been drastically slowed down. Now they're waiting on objectives. They're not just forcing fights because they're so far ahead, they know they can force them anywhere. That really was a massive blow to the Cloud9 war machine that they still have not fully recovered from.
I mean, it just bought so much time and money, honestly, for Prince to actually get back into the game and to be a true carry threat. Yes, Cloud9 is in a massively advantageous position. Yes, the Tristana is miles behind, but Jinx can solo carry these games. You can succeed as that solo threat. Sion is going to become a brick wall. You can see that Renekton's not hurting this guy anymore whatsoever. Soul or not, you don't want to even play with him.
The Renekton not so hot at this point in the game. Spica's getting locked down. C9 looks for the chance to go after the enemy jungler, and they find him right there. Now Ayla's got to try to escape too, flashing back underneath the turret to the safety of his base.
Baron.
C9 reinforcing with their top laner and heading over to the Baron, spawning in 3, 2, 1. That's going to be the call.
Yeah, and this is tough. You know, now you have to make that call. Do you try to actually contest? You have no jungler. If you walk in, it could potentially be game ending, but at the same time, if you give it for free, then maybe you're just giving up Elder as well. So I think FlyQuest is going to try to move down towards bot side, maybe get a turret bounty in mid, and try to set up some vision, at least for this Elder fight.
I feel like if it was one of your other dudes that gets picked there,
you
can try to flip it, you can go in for another steal, but without Spica, it just feels like a march to death, right? Your chance of stealing that away from Blaber with the smite so low. As you can see, the stopwatch purchase for Blaber here. Randuin's Omen done for both the Sejuani and the Braum on the front line. Fudge working on his here with that Renekton as well. Vicla, oh no. Oh no, run little Tristana. This is not what you're hoping for, bud. He tries to use the buster shot. It's been a bad game for Vicla, and it's not getting any better. Enemy mid laner picked off. Blaber's gonna face check into 3, but that's a Sejuani, and that's exactly where Sejuani wants to be. Zven coming around from the side, wants to try to cut him off with a glacial fissure, but FlyQuest can disengage in time. Problem is, Isaac, it's again a 5v4. It's again an Uber buff out on the Rift, and it's again free for Cloud9.
Yeah, I think Vicla just greeting out, trying to finish his Navori. If I had to guess, he needed just that last wave to get the Navori because he does purchase it on base. That's probably why he got so greedy. But, I mean, it's right before the Elder is spawning, and he didn't have TP. So, like, even if you got out there, you can't actually make the purchase anyway. And now Cloud9 are just going to march it down mid. 5v4, you have Elder, you have Soul. Do they actually look for the end, or do they just look to try to cut all the inhibs? And they are going to march forward. They want to try to close out this series. They want to try to close out this game now.
Look at that turret. It just melts, and now the Elder's ready to go. Prince is down. Ayla's down. FlyQuest have no any way at all chance left of surviving as C9 pushes in, and Spica and Vicla are pushed back into the fountain. Goes EMENES, a triple kill back to Berserker. It was number 1 versus number 2, and number 1 let you know exactly how good they are. C9 are going to the finals, and they're going to MSI.
What a series from Cloud9 here today, showcasing their absolute dominance over FlyQuest. You said it, number 1 versus number 2 in more ways than one. This is our number 1, number 2 seed. There's number 1 versus number 2 all pros in a lot of these positions here. And Cloud9 absolutely destroyed them. Berserker and Zven were completely on another level than the FlyQuest bot lane here today. You think back to those Varus games, absolute dominance, even with the mix-up here from FlyQuest. Berserker got 2 solo kills on Prince in this game. When is the last time you have seen a game like that?
Bot gap